Thanks for joining me again as we continue our study of the biblical principles for experiencing a turnaround from God. Regardless of whether you're seeking a breakthrough in your health or finances or some relationship, God is going to use these powerful spiritual principles to turn things around for you. Today I want to talk with you about another important step to experiencing your turnaround. Sow an uncommon financial seed. You know, we could talk for weeks about God's miraculous law of seed time and harvest, but I want to make this principle very simple and very clear in our study together today. Perhaps you've never stopped to consider this fact, but everything in life begins with a seed. In the plant world, in the animal world, human beings, everything begins with a seed. And in the very same way, God is going to use a seed of some kind to bring about the turnaround that you need. It's just this simple. Whenever you're facing a need in your life, I encourage you, sow a seed into God's kingdom and watch Him return it in the form of exactly the harvest that you need. Your seed, it represents a tiny beginning, but God can turn it into much more. Your seed is your bridge to your future and to your turnaround. The seeds that leave your hand, they never leave your life. God receives them. He multiplies them. He returns them back to you in the form of a harvest. And your trust in the Lord is revealed through your patience and waiting for your seeds to produce the harvest that you're desiring. Harvests take time. No one goes out to the garden and plants today and expects to reap a harvest tomorrow. But Galatians 6:9 promises, in due season you will reap if you don't lose heart. Friend, if you've taken a step of faith to sow a seed into God's kingdom, you can be absolutely confident of this. In due season, you will reap a harvest. But if you keep holding on to your seed, if you keep your seed, so to speak, in a jar in a cupboard on the shelf, your harvest can never come. It can never become anything more than what you're holding on to. Think about it this way. If you took a handful of seeds and put them in a jar like this and put them in your cupboard, what would you find if you came back and looked at those seeds a year from now? You'd see exactly the same seeds in the same jar, no more, no less. They wouldn't have grown, they wouldn't have produced a crop. But it's when you take the seeds and release them from your hand and sow them into good ground, and you wrap your seed with faith, you wrap your seed with expectation, you can expect a wonderful harvest from God. It's when you release the seed in your hands that God releases the harvests that are in His hands. When you sow a seed into God's kingdom, it's important that you expect a harvest. I encourage you to give your financial seed a specific assignment for the harvest that you're expecting from God. You'll be amazed how quickly your turnaround can come. The principle of seed time and harvest is a vital key to your breakthrough, and it's foundational to the covenant relationship God wants to have with you. Thank you for joining me today. I pray God blesses you until we're together again tomorrow.